Most people think getting older automatically makes you wiser. Wrong. Some people reach 70 with peace, respect, and clarity. Others reach 70 full of regret, bitterness, and loneliness. Same age, completely different life. And here's the scary part. The habits that destroy your final years don't look dangerous when you're younger. They look normal, comfortable, safe. That's exactly why this video matters. Because the truth is, most seniors don't suffer because of age. They suffer because of the decisions they repeated for decades without realizing the cost. Here's what you don't understand. The older you get, the less forgiving life becomes. A bad mindset at 25 is a lesson. A bad mindset at 75 becomes your reality. And this is where most people fail. They spend their entire lives preparing financially for retirement, but emotionally, mentally, socially, completely unprepared. The first lesson most older adults learn too late is this: nobody's coming to save you. Not your children. Not society. Not old friends who disappeared years ago. That sounds harsh, but it's freeing. Because the moment you stop expecting rescue, you start protecting your peace. You stop begging for attention. You stop chasing validation from people too distracted to give it. And strangely enough, that independence makes people respect you more. Weak people cling. Strong people build a life they can emotionally survive alone. That doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming emotionally self-sufficient. Because loneliness doesn't destroy seniors. Dependence does. A man or woman who needs constant reassurance becomes emotionally fragile, and people can feel that energy immediately. But someone who can enjoy solitude without becoming bitter, that's powerful. That presence changes the room. And that leads to the second lesson most people never realize until it's too late. Your energy matters more than your age. You've seen it before. One 75-year-old walks into a room and feels alive, sharp, calm, confident. Another walks in defeated before they even speak. Same wrinkles, different mindset. Because attraction, and yes, even at older ages, has never been about appearance alone. It's about emotional energy. People are drawn towards certainty, toward calmness, toward someone who doesn't drain the room with complaints, negativity, or desperation. And that's exactly why constant complaining quietly destroys relationships in old age. Most seniors think venting creates connection. It doesn't. It creates emotional exhaustion. Nobody wants to feel guilty every time they talk to you. Here's the hidden truth. People don't pull away because you're old. They pull away because every interaction feels heavy. This is where most men fail especially. They think authority comes from controlling conversations, repeating old achievements, or criticizing younger generations. But real respect works differently. The older you get, the quieter confidence becomes. You don't need to dominate the room when you actually know your value. And that calm confidence becomes magnetic. Now here's the third lesson that changes everything. Stop trying to relive your peak years. That's a trap. Some people spend their final decades emotionally trapped in the past, talking about who they used to be, what they had, what they looked like, what they almost became. And that's exactly why they suffer. Because life punishes people who refuse to evolve. A high-value older adult doesn't compete with younger people. They become impossible to replace through wisdom, emotional control, and presence. That's real power. You don't lose value with age unless your identity was built only on youth. Think about that carefully. If your entire confidence came from beauty, strength, money, or status, aging feels terrifying. But if your confidence comes from discipline, wisdom, emotional stability, and purpose, age actually increases your value. And here's the part nobody tells you. Purpose keeps people alive longer than comfort does. Retirement without purpose is dangerous. A lot of people don't retire from work. They retire from meaning. And once that happens, the mind starts collapsing before the body does. You need something that pulls you forward. A mission. A reason to wake up, something to build, teach, learn, improve. Because when people lose purpose, they become obsessed with tiny problems. Tiny disrespect, tiny disappointments, tiny fears. That's what happens when the mind has nowhere meaningful to go. Now listen carefully because this next lesson may be the most important one in this entire video. Protect your dignity more than your pride. Most people confuse the two. Pride says, I'll never apologize. Dignity says, I value peace more than ego. Pride isolates people. Dignity strengthens relationships. And the older you get, relationships become everything. Not fake social circles, not surface-level conversations, real human connection. 'Cause at the end of life, nobody wishes they spent more time proving themselves right. They wish they spent more time being present, more time listening, more time loving people while they still could. And that's exactly why emotional control becomes your greatest weapon. Not money, not status, not physical strength. Your ability to stay calm when life becomes difficult. Your ability to remain kind without becoming weak. Your ability to accept reality without becoming hopeless. That's rare. And rarity creates value. Here's what younger people secretly notice about powerful older adults. They don't chase attention. They don't beg to be respected. They don't force importance. They move slowly, speak carefully, and carry peace within themselves. That energy is unforgettable. Meanwhile, insecure people get louder as they age. More bitter, more controlling, more desperate to feel relevant. And that desperation pushes everyone away. So if there's one thing you take from this video, let it be this. Your final years are shaped by the emotional habits you practice today. Not luck, not genetics. Habits. The habit of gratitude, the habit of self-respect, the habit of emotional control, the habit of letting go instead of clinging. Because becoming a high-value person was never about being the richest, strongest, or most admired. It's about becoming someone whose presence brings peace instead of pressure. Someone who doesn't need to chase love, because their character naturally earns respect. And in the end, the people who age the best are not the ones trying to stay young forever. They're the ones who learned how to become emotionally unshakable.